Greetings and salutations, good friends. So I know it's been a while since this, subject I'm going to go over came out, but it's just been on my mind so much that it needs to be mentioned. Not too long ago, as a man with some clout did call Michael Bay a genius. Yes, that Michael Bay. Michael Bay you're thinking of. Now, who said this? Who would actually have the balls, the sheer crystal cojones to call Michael Bay a genius? Well, none other than Hannibal Lecter, none other than Van Helsing, and countless other incredible characters, Sir Anthony Hopkins. And let me tell you, in reading about this, I darn near lost my mind, because my dislike towards Michael Bay is very well known by anyone who knows me. To go into that further, I personally feel that the man has basically gotten away with murder, essentially, with the movies that he has made, not just Transformers movies. Now, I'll admit, there were a couple for, like, The Rock, Bad Boys 1, still haven't seen 2 yet, no real desire to. Bad Boys 1, The Rock, and Armageddon. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. It got me at the right time when I was young enough, you know what I mean? I was just young enough to be okay with it. But outside of that, and of course, the first Transformers movie, and despite the fact that it still wasn't all that great, when you compare them all up, for the most part, it's still the better one. Now, I'm trying to rack my brain around all this again because I'm trying to relive all these movies. And then hearing Sir Anthony Hopkins, a man who was knighted for his service to the arts by the Queen. You don't get called Sir just because you're being polite. No, you get called Sir in your title because you were knighted by the Queen of England. This is a big deal. And so far as I know, she don't just hand it out to anyone. She hands them out to people who deserve it. And no question about it, Sir Anthony Hopkins deserves it, along with Sir Patrick Stewart and Sir Ian McKellen. So when you put him on that level, it does take a lot, put a lot of different things into perspective now. Now, I will say that I've never personally voiced this sort of thing. I've considered talking about it, that as much as I may not like Michael Bay, and I really don't, I will give the man this credit in that he knows what he's good at, which is good. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with accepting what you're good at and what you're bad at. I don't know if he's accepted what he's bad at yet, but he's definitely accepted what he's good at. And what he's good at is action, no question. He's good at special effects and essentially anything along those lines. Actual directing, he might be getting better at it, or he just kind of stopped worrying about that when he realized his better traits. And this is pretty much where I'm getting to. He knows his niche. He knows what he's good at, and he goes with it. Now, as far as him keep saying this is his last Transformers movie, with The Last Night just around the corner, I'll believe it when I see it, bae. Plain and simple. I mean, whether this is your last one or not, I don't care. When I thought the third one was your last one, I accepted that. I'm like, okay, I totally believe it. I am down for it. Please stop. But then, no. Then we got 4. What was it, Age of Extinction? That's what it was called. I show so much I care. I just watch certain action clips on YouTube if I feel the need to, watch it. Because I'll admit, those parts are actually a lot of fun. I mean, it's definitely a popcorn movie. For sure. They all are. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So, yes, what Michael Bay has done to both the movie industry as well as the Transformers franchise and all that could be considered bad. But then, when someone like Sir Anthony Hopkins comes out and calls him a genius and putting on the same level as Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, Oliver Stone, these are some big names. really, really big names, and he's worked with them all. Sir Anthony Hopkins has worked with absolutely every kind of director by this point in his career. He's worked with the best and the worst. So far as my quick little research has shown, he's been only nominated for 2 Razzies. Well, technically nominated for one and almost got a nomination for another. But that's pretty incredible. I mean, I'm not saying I know of how many other actors have, gotten a pedigree like him, but still got a Razzie or two. But this guy has brought so many historical figures to life. The man is a Shakespearean actor. He's more than just Odin here, people. And to me, he's definitely Odin, for sure. I can't think of anyone else who could be as good of Odin as he is. I don't know. Sean Connery kind of comes to mind. Maybe Sir Patrick Stewart. I don't know. I'm just saying, when I heard he was Odin, I was down. And he sells it, too. That Shakespearean acting comes through so well. And so when someone like that says Michael Bay is a genius, after sitting down with him one time, this is a man who apparently reads his scripts at least 250 times, which, considering how good he is in just about every single role he's ever been in, that makes a lot of sense. So maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe there is more to Michael Bay than the movies he has produced. Well, directed. The movies he's produced were, kind of, sort of, you could argue better, like the Turtles movies. He didn't necessarily direct, but he put his fingerprints on them. So, maybe there is possibly something to Michael Bay that the movie-going public just can't really see yet. Now, I am in no way saying that this is something that's going to basically allow me to give Michael Bay my money again. I have not given money to Michael Bay movies since Transformers 2. Because that one suckered me in. I thought that was going to be good. I was so pumped, I was ready, and oh man, I was so disappointed with giving up my money to that. I did see the third one in the theaters, because I gave money to Super 8, and that movie deserved it for sure. I, of course, would later go see it, because, I had my faith in the movie, so I gave my money to it. But then when I found out it was actually really good, yeah, I had no problem paying for it again. Transformers, not so much. And I never saw the fourth one in theaters. Considering how this new one is looking, maybe I will, but I'll still do the same thing. They're a little tighter now and that sort of thing, so I might not be able to get away with it. But I'm going to give it a shot. Worst thing that'll happen is I get thrown out and I just don't go to that theater again. Big deal. I'm sorry, but I don't care about that sort of thing. So, it's really difficult for me to want to agree with this statement. And this is there from now on, until the end of time, at least until the internet goes away. And Sir Anthony Hopkins has stated that he's calling Michael Bay a genius. Now, to give it a label, some conspiracy theorists could say that he's just being paid to say that. And I want to say that can't be true. I really want to believe in my heart of hearts that Sir Anthony Hopkins would not do that. I want to believe that a man of this caliber would not take money just to call someone like Michael Bay a genius. I want to believe that if he's calling him a genius, then he must be. There must be something in there that just for some reason doesn't translate to the actual film itself or make it to theaters and TVs and all that. Like maybe something gets lost in the editing process or something, or maybe he just shoots so much that the editor can't put it all in the one movie. I no longer know. This literally threw me for a loop here. So, what can I say? I'm going to keep an open mind now. And I strongly advise you do the same. If someone like Sir Anthony Hopkins can say something like that. Granted, yes, maybe it was sarcasm and it was taken out of context. And if that's the case, then, well, okay, good. It's better to know that than to assume that he was being for real. And if he was being for real, great. So hopefully this opens up everyone's minds to Michael Bay a little bit more. There's a lot of people out there who hold grudges. There's a lot of people out there who have seen these movies and find it very difficult to get past them. And that's understandable. Very understandable. These movies are very, very, very difficult to defend, I guess, to advocate for. But I will say this: yeah, they can be a lot of fun if you just get past all the unneeded stuff, like, ooh, I don't know, the humans, the people. Hopefully, one day soon, we'll get a Transformers movie in the way we want a Transformers movie, without the people. If you want to have people in there, that's fine, but focus on the Transformers. It's really not that difficult. It's not. I mean, if you want to have CGI robots in a real cityscape, you put them in there later, that's fine. Actually shoot that stuff. I would think it'll be cheaper. You don't have to pay extras and actors and all that to be in the shot. You could just, it's almost like having like a documentary, like a high-scale B-roll or something, You're just shooting background stuff and real explosions, or in this case, fireworks. It's possible, but I don't know, we can only assume, once again, there are reasons for that. I mean, I guess you gotta have some star power in there so that people go to see it, but what can I say? The power of the nerd is very strong. If it's Transformers related, people will go see it. And it's bizarre how much people will still go see it, even though they hate every other one. They still go and pay their money to see these movies. Now, I will say, for those people who say they hate every other movie, then they pay money and they see a new one, and they say they still hate it, guess what? I don't really care. I don't. And especially people who purposely pay money to see a bad movie. You are part of the problem, okay? The more you spend your money for this crap, the more you're gonna get crap. You vote with your dollar. Plain and simple. Your opinion, your voice does not matter too much as long as you pay for it. Now, if you pay for it and you get enough people, and the internet is very strong now, of course, if you get enough people to say it was crap, then they do start to listen. I will also give Michael Bay this additional credit, that through the movies, it did seem as though he was listening. A big issue that people had with the first one was that you couldn't really see the action. You couldn't really very well tell which Transformer was which, because it was so close. And I agreed. So what did he do with the second one? He actually pulled the camera back a lot, or put the robots further back, what do you want to call it. And it worked. The best one I can think of right now is the forest scene. Optimus going up against Megatron, Starscream, and Grindor, I guess, who I thought was dead in the first one, but then all of a sudden came back. Whatever, it doesn't matter. He pulled it back, and the action was really awesome. It was really cool to see. But people still weren't happy then. They couldn't. I couldn't tell which Transformer is which. Who's who? I couldn't tell. First of all, if that's really your argument toward that, you're an idiot. Because I could easily tell who was who and who was fighting whom. Whom? That's right. Doesn't matter. But then again, he still listened. So what did he do in the third one? He, what's the way of saying it? He brightened up the colors in the Transformers so you could distinctly tell who was who. I realized this when I saw the very vibrant red in Sentinel Prime. When I saw that, I recognized what was going on. I'm like, okay. He actually is listening. He's not listening to everything, but he is listening. Now, I don't really know how many complaints people had about the third one that carried over to the fourth. I don't really know. I will say it did seem as though he was listening. So, Michael Bay still can bring out a lot of heat in me, because I can be one of those nerds who can hold a grudge against someone like that. My grudge towards George Lucas, for the record, is long since gone. I mean, to get on that real quick, yes, what he did in the prequels was less than smart. No question. His choices were definitely not the best. They just weren't the best. And I've already said it before, I don't blame Jake Lloyd for his performance in the first one. I blame George Lucas. Jake Lloyd was a small child with like 1 or 2 movies under his belt, one of which was Jingle All the Way. Come on. Then he goes into something like this. A lot of pressure to be put on a kid to be in Star Wars, to be portraying a young version of one of the greatest villains of all time. Not the greatest, just one. That's a lot of pressure on a kid. And the movie comes out, people just bashed him. Even when I was younger, I didn't see that as an issue. I really, really didn't. As I grew up, I still didn't. People go on and on and on about how bad Jake Lloyd was. And yes, technically he was. But remember, an actor is only as good as his director allows him or her. I know how that sounded. Sure, an actor can bring a great performance out. Yes, absolutely, with very little direction if they're that good. Like Sir Anthony Hopkins, for example. And it is possible to do that. But sometimes an actor does need more. And they need that from the director. And if the director is not good, they can't get it. It's just not possible. And when you have a director like George Lucas, unfortunately, sometimes that's just not going to happen. So I'll say this once again, drop the Jake hate. Know what I mean? Just no more, guys. Let that one go. As far as George Lucas goes, sure, fine. If you want to keep that hate, more power to you. Me, I'm going to move on with my life. And now, with this new thought towards Michael Bay, maybe I can start letting this one go now too. And I do hope you do the same. Because like I said, if someone like Sir Anthony Hopkins can call him a genius, maybe he sees something we don't. Something to consider. So until then, I'll catch you on the flip side.